Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a giant book haul for you. These are all of the books that I have accumulated during the second lockdown here in the UK. There are a lot of books to get through, so this might be a little bit of a longer video. I've read some of these books, I'm currently reading some, and some I have yet to start, so I'll be relatively brief with kind of showing you each book in turn, just so this video isn't an hour long. I'm filming this at like 2 in the afternoon and it is already getting dark, so I'm going to try and be as quick as possible, but I apologise if the lighting is a little bit funny. A lot of these books have been sent to me from publishers. I will pop all of the names down below and put a little star next to the ones that were very kindly sent to me, but thank you so much to all of the lovely publishers for sending me copies of some very, very exciting books. Okay, so before... Ow! I hit my funny bone. So the first one is a short story collection, which is Reality and Other Stories by John Lanchester. As you may remember, when lockdown first happened, it was Halloween, so I think there may have been some kind of feature on spooky books or scary short stories, and I hadn't read any for a long time, so I saw this and it caught my eye. I think the cover is so beautiful, and I thought that's the kind of thing I fancy reading. Reality and Other Stories is a gathering of deliciously chilling entertainments, stories to be read as the evening draws in and the days are haunted by the uncanny technologies and absurd horrors in modern life. Just sounds really good. If you've read this or know anything about it, please let me know down below because I haven't seen anything about it. I'm pretty sure it was published this year. Yeah, so it's published by Faber this year, so it is relatively new, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to this soon. I think especially as it's getting so dark at the moment, it'll be nice to curl up with something a little bit creepy. The next book that I picked up mainly because of this gorgeous cover, but when I read the blurb I was like, yes, this is my kind of thing. So this is Mostly Dead Things by Christian Arnett. I have heard a little bit about this, I've heard some really good things. But again, this cover is absolutely stunning. So I'm pretty sure this was published this year by Corsair. I've read the first few pages of this and I really liked it. Oh, it's upside down. Good. Don't know too much about the plot itself. I know that it focuses, like I said, on this taxidermy business that the family has. I think it's like a slice of life, kind of comedic, probably dark humour snapshot into this family's life. When I was at the till purchasing those two books, the lovely bookseller recommended this to me, which is Ocean Vyung. I'm not sure how to pronounce that surname, I'm sorry. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. They said that if I liked kind of darker, more literary books, then I would probably really like this, and I was like, yeah, I trust you, let's do it. I haven't got to it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'll read you the blurb. So it says, this is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born. It tells of Vietnam, of the lasting impact of war, and his family's struggle to forge a new future. And it serves as a doorway into parts of Little Dog's life his mother has never known, episodes of bewilderment, fear and passion, all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. I've heard it's very literary and poetic and beautifully written, and again, because it's a giant letter, I feel like it's something that I can kind of sit down and absorb all in one go, all being well. But yeah, lovely. I love getting recommendations. I'm always like, yes, sell me anything. I'm interested, I'll buy it. Something I wanted to mention briefly is Misogynation by Laura Bates. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a haul video. I picked this up while I was in Brighton. I picked up a lot of books while I was there, but I've read all of them and I think I've reviewed them, so I'm not going to mention them in this video. I'll leave a link to that video down below. I'm sure if you know this channel, I'm a huge fan of Laura Bates's work. I'm currently about just under a third of the way through this. This is a collection of works dating back to kind of the 2012-2014 era, covering a huge spectrum of topics surrounding feminism and misogyny. I think I was reading it, the first bit of it, during a time when I was like, I'm feeling pretty bogged down with what's going on right now. And just reminding myself, especially when you see that some of these articles were written so many, like 6-7 years ago, that you're like, oh, it just hurts that little bit more. But I mean, Laura Bates is fantastic and I will definitely continue to read this. But yeah, I don't think I've mentioned this. Apologies if I just repeated myself. But the next book I have for you is Night Shift, which is by Kiara Ladner. Again, There it is. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And this is a proof copy and it is published by Picador. This is out early next year. It's out on the 18th of February. I have read this and I am going to keep my explanation pretty brief here. So this follows two women, Sabine and Meggie, who both work a night shift in London in offices. Meggie becomes essentially obsessed with Sabine and decides to start working night shifts and kind of begins to transverse her regular life with her boyfriend and move into this kind of like dark and unsettling and obsessive life that she leads while being on these night shifts, and her world becomes completely centred around the character of Sabine. So it's set in the like 90s and it just gives me all the retro vibes, but it's just really interesting seeing how their lives are so much different to ours now. I'm not going to go on about it right now, but fantastic, and it's not long until it's out, so I'd keep your eye out for this one. So the next one I have you is this big proof of All Girls by Emily Leyden. This is out on the 18th of February, which I think is the same date as Night Shift. Interesting. So I have started reading this. I'm about 40 pages in. So this is set over 1 year in a all-girls school in Connecticut. So we follow their characters through this year in the wake of a reported sexual assault. Like I said, I'm not very far in yet, so I'm just kind of getting to know all of the characters, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I feel like this book is going to have a lot to say in terms of how schools and women are taught to react and feel about sexual assaults in an environment such as a school. So I'm so excited to keep reading. I'm probably going to carry on this after I finish this video. So next we have this, which is Cockfight by Maria Fernanda Ampuro. And this is translated from the Spanish by Frances Riddle. This is a lovely surprise. This is published by Influx Press and it is a short story collection. They know me very well. So this says, in lucid and compelling prose, Ampuro sheds light on the hidden aspects of the home, the grotesque realities of family, coming of age, religion and class struggle. So I think it might be quite similar to Famished by Anna Vaught, which was one of my favourite short story collections that I read this year. You may see that in a video very soon. I reviewed it in my previous video, also published by Influx. I just love short stories that are dark, disturbing, grotesque, but also shed light on family life. My favourite subgenre, if that is a thing, so I am so excited to read this. So the next book is super exciting. So this is Elisa Williamson's First Day of My Life. You may remember I talked about it at the time on my channel and it was super popular, a book called The Art of Being Normal, which was a fantastic book. This is written by the same author, Lisa Williams. This is published by David Fickling and I think it's out early next year. This is a finished copy though, gorgeous cover. So the blurb says, there are 3 sides to every story. It's GCSE results day, Frankie's best friend Jojo is missing, a baby has been stolen, and more than one person has been lying. Frankie's determined to find out the truth and her ex-boyfriend Ram is the only person who can help her, but they're both in for a shock. Everything is about to change. What I really liked about The Art of Being Normal is that it felt like a YA which wasn't like pandering to a younger audience or made you feel really young while you were reading it, and I feel like that will absolutely come across in this as well. I've not really read a YA or middle grade book in so long, and this is going to be my first this year and I'm super excited. And I'm really looking forward to just getting stuck into it. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this story. The next book I have, I am so excited for. This is God 99 by Hassam Blassim. This is published by Comma Press and it is out on the 10th of December, so that is today. So it's out now, which is super exciting. I'll leave a link below to where you can go and purchase. So the reason I'm so excited about this is because Hassan Blassim is an Iraqi-born filmmaker and poet who ended up settling in Finland in the early 2000s after travelling through Europe as a refugee, and that is a voice that I really want to hear from. So on the back it says, chess-playing people traffickers, suicidal photographers, absurdist sound sculptors, cat-loving rebel sympathisers, murderous storytellers, the characters in Hassan Blassim's debut novel are not the invention of a wild imagination, but real-life refugees and people whose lives have been devastated by war. Interviewed by Hassan Owl, an inspiring Iraq-born writer, they become the subjects of an online art project, a blog that blurs the boundaries between fiction and autobiography. There's just so many voices in here that I'm so excited to hear from and really get invested in. And I just think this is such a fantastic concept for a novel. And now it's out now, so you guys can get your hands on it too. And I'm just so excited about it. The next two books are books I'm going to put under a self-titled category, which is books that I should have read by now but still haven't. I bought these at the same time. So the first one is Dolly Alderton's Everything I Know Now About Love. I can't believe that I've not read this or even picked it up yet. It's because I saw Ghost had been released and I was like, no, you know what, I'm going to go back and read this first before I read Ghost. I'm sure you know all about Dolly Alderton's work by now, and especially this book, but I'm just so excited to read it and I feel like I'm going to really resonate with it. Yeah, the second one that I picked up is Bernardine Evanesto's Girl, Woman, Other, which I have currently started reading, and so far I'm very much enjoying it. So this was the winner of the Booker Prize 2019, so last year, and since then I feel like it has just gained an exceptional amount of positive reviews, which undoubtedly it deserves, and I feel like now is the time that I want to read this and I want to hear these voices. I think usually I like to stick to a character study. I like books that focus around one character, so this is going to be really nice for me to kind of invest in and hear so many different voices and the stories they have to tell. So yeah, books that I should have read by now but haven't, but will have read soon. The next book I have for you is Ellery Lloyd's People Like Her, which is out on the 21st of Jan, so next month, and this is published by Mantle. I read this right at the start of lockdown. I read it over the course of like a night and a half. I got so invested, I could not put it down. I have to really restrain myself from not talking about this because this is just a haul, it's not a full review, but this is just so good. This is about a woman called Emmy Jackson and her husband Dan, and Emmy is a mummy blogger. I think in this she's the most popular UK like Insta mum, and she has 2 children and her entire life is completely fabricated essentially around being Mama Bear, being this Instagram personality. Her husband Dan is a struggling writer and he is not entirely sold on this whole Insta mum concept. I'm not a mum, I don't have children, so mummy blogging is not something that I'm particularly acquainted on the internet, although I am familiar with how popular people can get. It's uncharted waters for me, so this was great because it had a lot to say on the fabrication and the realities of being an Instagram celebrity. However, this is a crime novel. I kind of don't want to say any more than that, but all I'm going to say is this is a proper crime thriller and this goes to a place that you do not expect. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I feel like that's enough to get people interested. So the next book I have for you is Bernard and Pat, which is by Blair James. It's published by Corsair and it's out February next year. Obviously not this year. So this is a proof copy. I love this cover so much. This cover is so up my alley. I saw this getting some very interesting reviews, so I'm going to read you the blurb. Catherine is small and everyone else is big. The world has lots of rules which she cannot keep up with, and lots of things happen that just don't feel right. With Dad gone and Mum at work, Catherine spends her days with Bernard and Pat. These are the days she will never forget, but never quite remember either. Bernard and Pat are Christians. Catherine doesn't think they behave like good people. She wonders why nobody else can see this too. Now Catherine is grown up, but she is stuck living with the voice of herself as a child, furious that nobody protected her, that nobody told her people could do such things. I feel like this book is going to focus a lot on childhood and distorted memories, and that is something that I feel like I'm really going to enjoy. I have 2 more very exciting books for you. Talking of gorgeous covers, just what an absolutely astounding proof. This is His Only Wife by Peace Adzo Mehdi. This is published by One World and is out in March, I believe. Yeah, the 18th of March next year. So I'm just going to read you the blurb now. So, This says, growing up in rural Ghana, Afi learns to respect her elders, so when her mother persuades her to accept a proposal of marriage from a man she barely knows, Afi is easily convinced. After all, Elikem is wealthy, handsome, and best of all, he's her way into Accra, the gleaming, glamorous capital that Afi has heard so much about. But soon she learns that fairy tales and reality rarely align, for Elikem isn't quite the man she seemed. Amidst constant pressure to be beautiful and compliant, to cook, clean and mother, it will take all of her courage to confront the minefield of modern marriage. I don't think I've ever read a book which is going to talk so explicitly about arranged marriage. This is probably one of my most anticipated books of next year, and I cannot wait to get reading, and as soon as I do, I shall report back. And finally, we have Common Ground by Naomi Ishiguro. So this is published by Tinder Press and is out on the 25th of March. I was a huge fan of Escape Routes, which was Naomi's short story collection, but this is her debut novel, and I am just so happy to have this and I cannot wait to read it. I'm so excited. So I'm going to read you the blurb now. So, it's a lonely life for Stan, at a new school that feels more ordeal than Fresh Start, and at a home where he and his mother struggle to break the silence after his father's death. When he encounters fearless, clever Charlie on the local common, all of that begins to change. Charlie's curiosity is infectious, and it is Charlie who teaches Stan for the first time to stand on his own 2 feet. But will their unit of 2 be strong enough to endure in a world that offers these boys such different prospects? The pair part ways until their paths cross once again as adults at a London party. Now Stan is revelling in all the city has to offer, while Charlie seems to have hit a brick wall. He needs Stan's help, and above all his friendship. But is Stan really there for the man who once showed him the meaning of loyalty? I feel like I need to read a beautiful, heartwarming story that takes you through childhood into adolescence, into adulthood, and just encompasses all of that heartwarming, nice feels. I think this is going to be really beautiful. I think for now that is everything I have to show you. I would imagine in the new year, come January, I'll be doing another book haul. I would imagine I may be getting some books for Christmas. It's a safe bet. But yeah, please tell me which books you're excited to read next year. If you've read any of these already, tell me your thoughts. And I will see you really soon for my favourite books of 2020. But until then, stay safe and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!